Sleep, ADHD, rivals at heart, but they need one another. Kind of like me and coffee. I need it to poop, but if I drink it, I will have an anxiety attack. Back to it. I have heard from tons of ADHDers, including myself, that they struggle with sleep and their ADHD. They're restless, they've got spiraling thoughts, they just can't slow down their brain, you name it. Sleep is so deeply necessary for everyone, and ADHDers are no different. So let's cut the crap and get right into it. What tools can we use as ADHDers to get a better night's sleep? Let's do it. When I was younger, I had the worst case of insomnia, and I truly believed it was insomnia, but it turns out it was just poorly treated ADHD. Everything is ADHD. Like, how is that possible? So let's get straight into it. What are the tools that I used and have now used in my day-to-day life that I'm able to get a great night's sleep every time I go to bed? We're gonna be focusing on 3 different needs that generally need to be met for you to get to sleep. And I think what happens for ADHDers is we don't actually think about these 3 different needs. So let's go into them. The first one is our physical needs. Is your body tired enough to sleep? I know that sounds stupid, but it's important because here's the thing. I realized for myself, I spend most of my day sitting at my desk doing emails and work and nonstop at my desk, and I'm sitting for a lot of the day. And then when I get off of work, sometimes I'll just go lie on the couch and I'll watch my shows, and maybe I'm up and down just a little bit. And by the time I go to bed, my body hasn't moved a lick. Done nothing at all. And so my body is not tired enough to go to bed. So let's reflect for a moment. Think about the day that you are currently in, or the day that you had yesterday. What movement have you done? Any? If you have, great. I love that for you. If you haven't, why not? And maybe that could be incorporated in your daytime routine or before your night routine so that your body is able to exert some of the energy that is existing in it and bottled up inside of it so that you can get a better night's sleep. Because remember, ADHD, the reason that it is not ADD and it is ADHD is because hyperactivity is, regardless whether you have inattentive or you have combined or you have hyperactive ADHD, they are all hyperactive. It is a matter of whether it is like this physical hyperactivity or it is an inattentive in your brain hyperactivity. And so it is important for us to think about, is this hyperactivity existing in my body, and like, am I not allowing it to escape by not moving my body? I bet you haven't thought about it that way before. Papa is here to teach you. And if you've seen my 7 types of rest video, you will know that physical rest, what that really is it is the opposite of your natural state during the day. So for myself, my natural state during the day is sitting and not really doing anything with my body. And so the physical rest that my body frequently requires is movement. That is why I try to take my dog for an evening walk so that I get out and around and I move my body as well. He likes it. It's fine, it's whatever. But for me, it's important. If you struggle to figure out what types of movement to do, I would highly suggest watching this video, which I go in and talk about ADHD and movement and things that you can do. So go and watch that. But some of the suggestions I would give you is doing something that is low barrier of entry, meaning maybe that is yoga at home because it's easy to just turn on a video and do it. Maybe it is easier to have accountability and go for a walk with a friend or meet up and go to the gym together, whatever it is. Figure out how to add movement into your day so that your body is physically tired by the time you are going to sleep. And a quick pause to talk about the sponsor of this week's video, our favorite, AccuFlow. AccuFlow is the tool that I use to help organize and maintain my life. A lot of people ask me, Haley, how do you do content creation, your own business, as well as working full time for a different business? And I tell them, organization, baby, and AccuFlow is my right-hand man. So I want to show you one of the ways in which I use AccuFlow every single day to help organize the chaos that's in my brain so that I can function. One of my favorite things that AccuFlow does is it gives me this option every single day to do daily planning. It prompts me every time I open AccuFlow on a new day to do this ritual, which is boosting my efficiency by planning my entire day. So let's do this together. I really like brain dumping all of the things that I have to do in a day, whether it's work related or personal life related, into this one place, and then we're gonna organize it. So let's brain dump for a second. I know that today one of the things I need to do is planning some work for my intern to do for me. I know that some of the work I need to do is some design work for tomorrow. I also know that I have financial tracking I need to do. And I know personally I need to walk my dog today because I didn't do it this morning. Now AccuFlow loves to prompt me with things like this down in the left corner, what time would you like to wrap up your day? 6 p.m. sounds like a great idea, and that is when I'm planning to see my friends. And so hopefully I'm done all my work by then. So let's add that to my calendar. And now automatically I have my daily shutdown. Take a moment to reflect on how your day went and wrap it up. Review is an important part of productivity. I love that it assigns me these things or automatically like gives me these prompts because it helps me to decide what to do. So now that I have all of the tasks that I really want to get done today, I can actually assign them to my day. Something I've always struggled with ADHD is feeling like I have so much to do, but then not doing anything about it. And so taking all of those things out of my brain and putting them somewhere allows me to actually take action on those things. So if you were like me and you want to be on top of organization, especially going into 2025, it's a new year. It's a new you, baby. Then try out AccuFlow. I think you're going to love it. Use the link in my bio and there's more information down there. Again, thank you so much, AccuFlow, for sponsoring this video. I love you. Say it back. Say it back, AccuFlow. Let's get back to the video. The second type of need that we frequently forget about and overlook are our emotional needs. Haley's an emotional person. I don't know if you can tell that by how many hundreds of videos there are of me online crying. I'm curious if you can take a moment right now and reflect for a minute. How do your emotions show up for you when you are trying to go to sleep? Because for me, I notice that if I am going to sleep and I haven't dealt with my emotions for the day, that is the time they'll show up. Hello! We haven't talked about this thing that is making us incredibly anxious and sad, and so we're gonna feel it all at once now and stay up for hours on end. And you're gonna try to avoid it by scrolling on your phone, and that's just gonna make you have a horrible, horrible, awful sleep. Does that sound good? I don't want that. I don't want that at all. Okay, then you better make time for me during the day. I don't want to do that either, actually. You have to pick one. It's one or the other. You have to pick. The question really becomes, did you create space for your emotional needs during the day? And if not, is that what is coming up at night in those spiraling anxious thoughts and like the nonstop chatter going on in your brain that is keeping you awake? So there's a couple of ways to process your emotions and your feelings, and I'm sure that you probably have a solution for this already, but I'm going to give you some suggestions if maybe you don't. I find for myself, if I'm feeling frustrated or angry or upset in some way similar to that, which sometimes I leave work feeling that because I didn't get the right thing done or I'm like frustrated at myself. And the best way for me to move that emotion is movement. All comes back to movement, baby. So for myself, my evening walk is so supportive in moving some of my emotions as well, because I don't always need to talk about what I'm feeling. I don't always need to process the thing that is making me feel that way. Oftentimes that emotion just wants me to move it. I don't remember where I heard this, but I heard somebody once say that emotion is just energy in motion, and it requires you to move it somehow. And so frustration, anger, for me, the movement is movement. If you were noticing before bed that you were feeling sadness or maybe some like fear, I know that I have gone to bed before and just like started crying because I'm like, oh, this is showing up now because this is the first time in the day that I'm not doing anything. And those feelings are just like pouring out, you know? And for myself, those types of emotions, especially sadness, what it requires from me is comfort. And so finding space and time before I go to bed to like give myself that comfort can be so supportive. And for me, comfort can be in the form of like a nice hot bath, or spending time with my partner or my friends or my family can be very comforting for me. It can be journaling about it and like getting it all out there. It could also just be going for a walk. That can be very comfortable for me. It all comes back to movement. And the last one that for me shows up a lot before I go to bed is like stress, anxiety. It's the I have so much to do tomorrow and so like only a few hours in the day, and it's just, oh my God, there's so many things for me to do and I can't do them right now. It's a anxious spiral. And for me, when it comes to those types of emotions, anxiety, stress, all of those things, what is supportive for me is action, doing something about those things to allow me to feel like I can move forward. So whether that is just writing my to-do list for tomorrow so that I know how I'm going to deal with those things can change how I'm able to go to sleep. I actually use a specific journal just for to-do lists because I find it so supportive to just go, I am going to do this tomorrow. I will do it at this time. This means, brain, you don't have to worry about it right now. We can go to sleep. XOXO, Haley. So ask yourself, are you sitting in your emotions and not giving your emotions a place to move and exist? And so they're showing up when you go to bed and making it way harder for you to go to sleep. So try to give your emotions a space to live. How nice is that? And the third need that I think is really important for us to focus on before we go to bed is our mental needs. And this is different than emotional, right? Mentally, have you been stimulated enough to now go to sleep? Now, this feels hard to reflect on sometimes because I know for myself, I can end a day and be like, I did so many things. I was so mentally stimulated today because I did so much and now I'm fucking exhausted. But then when I really think about it and I look back at my day and I go, I did a lot of tasks, but were they mentally stimulating enough? Because that's not always the case for me. A lot of my tasks I feel like aren't necessarily mentally stimulating. They are just like, I have to do these mundane tasks to get through this day, and that was my work day. And they didn't stimulate my brain enough so that when I go to sleep, my brain is racing and like it's super hyperactive. My inattentive ADHD shows up in such an incredible way at this moment because I didn't give myself enough of a place for that hyperactivity to exit my body. Remember, you could be going to bed feeling emotionally exhausted, but physically hyperactive, mentally hyperactive, and that could be stopping you from going to sleep. You could be going to bed feeling physically exhausted, but emotionally and mentally, you've got a lot still going on. It really is this trifecta that if the three of these are thought of and taken care of, you'll be able to like calm yourself down enough to go to sleep. Some of the ways that I think about mentally stimulating myself before I go to bed so that I have, that energy out of me is having conversations with people. So like calling people and talking through our days and stuff can be really supportive. Doing problem solving type activities, like for me, that's cooking because I'm bad at it. And so I'm constantly problem solving as I'm doing it because I'm making mistakes over and over again. It could also be playing video games. There's a ton of mentally stimulating video games that give you a lot of problems to solve while you play. And it could also be movement. There's a lot of problem solving and thinking that has to be done while you're doing different types of movement. This is why I say truly and genuinely that I think the best medication for ADHD is movement. Activity of some sort is so helpful in every area of your life when it comes to ADHD. And so notice that all three needs could potentially be supported by adding movement into your day. And that's a potential thing. This is hugely helpful for me. Your body's different. Your brain is different. It's going to work potentially different. So let's wrap this up. We have three needs that we need to think about, kind of like a checklist before we go to bed. Am I physically tired enough to go to sleep? No? Let's do something about it. Am I emotionally tired enough to go to sleep? Have my emotions been dealt with so that I'm able to actually relax enough to go to bed? Am I mentally tired enough to go to sleep? Have I stimulated my brain enough today so that I can then go to sleep? I know so many of you do revenge procrastination bedtime, meaning you stay up way too late because you're trying to get that mental stimulation that you have been craving all day, and it forces you to stay up way too late then. That's often why a lot of us are like scrolling our phones super late because we're like, I just want to feel something. I just want my brain to be tired, but it's not, because it's actually not stimulating your brain in the way that you really need. So can you give yourself this checklist? Have I done these three things before I've gone to bed? And if you have, wonderful. If it's still hard to sleep, now's the time to go see a doctor about it. Get some support, get some help, get an expert professional opinion as to why it might be extra difficult for you to try to sleep. I am so curious to hear how these types of tools support you and if they are helpful or not. And if you've tried them, tell me how they worked. Go try them tonight. Come back to this video and tell me if they worked or not. And it might take a couple of days of trying it to see what really fits and suits you, but I want to know. Tell me. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. And I am so proud of you for putting in the work to yourself because nobody else is going to do it for you. So it's pretty fucking cool that you're doing it for yourself. I love you so much. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.